yeah, Veronica Mars, I'm watching you. Private eye.
Hello and welcome to your podcast, Veronica Mars. I am Joe.
And I'm Travis, and I thought I bought chocolate-covered peanuts, but these are chocolate-covered raisins, and I'm a tad disappointed.
Oh,
I'm still gonna eat them because I like chocolate-covered raisins, but I not what I wanted.
this would have worked better for last episode when Veronica wanted M&Ms and Leo had chocolate-covered raisins instead. But no, we are here for Veronica Mars Season 4, Episode 5, Losing Streak. Not Episode 4, that was last week. Yeah.
This episode kind of just existed.
It had some fun parts, but overall, it could have been put into other episodes. Oh.
Because it was like filler, but not fun filler.
Stuff happened to... Yeah. There was some character work, but then there's some character work I didn't want to happen that happened. We'll get into that, though. So let's crack into this episode description. Or do you have a review?
Oh, I do.
Oh, but let me do the description first, and then you can do the review. I don't know why I'm doing this backwards.
No, we usually do the review first.
Oh, okay. Then go on. Go on.
So this was a 6 out of 10, which really threw me. It's by Bob Cobb 301, which I think I've read his thing before.
Bob Cobb again?
Familiar.
Yep. That was last episode.
So weakest episode of the new season to date, as it did not feel like it advanced the story and felt like more like a one-off. But it still gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, see, this is why we don't...
But it's very accurate.
This is why we don't do a letter grade or numerical score, because I just don't... I'm not good with those.
Oh, are we already at Pirate Points? If you're there yet. By the time we get to this point, you'll know how we feel about this episode.
Whether we loved it, hated it, it felt somewhere in between. So
I give this episode enough Pirate Points.
Dear. So, the internet tells us about this episode. Veronica discovers Keith has been hiding something scary from her. The real reason for Penn's latest theory on the bomber comes to light. Veronica loses confidence in new friend Nicole, owner of Comrade Quacks.
I really like I really like the Veronica and Keith stuff this episode.
Oh, yeah. No, that whole...
It's heartbreaking and it's hard, but that's like kind of the real... I loved it because that's what happens. That's how life goes. She's not a teenager anymore.
She's dealing with like real parent issues. Not real parent. She was dealing with real parent issues, but like real world parent, like everyday person parent issues, not teen PI parent
it's stuff
issues.
That you can't ignore or be like, this is happening because alcoholism or because you're like a bad parent. This is like, my dad's just getting old. There's nothing I can do about it. And I can't be sassy about it because it's life.
She tries to be a little sassy about it, but then breaks down immediately.
She tries. Like, I like when she's going to Cliff and she's like, tell me.
What's
like, go ask her dad, Veronica. Like, be an adult.
I loved that we got to see a more grown-up dynamic, too, with Cliff and Veronica.
Oh my god,
like,
yes.
She did some horrible shit in the episode, but it was nice to see the dynamic between the two. Like, Cliff very much is like, oh yeah, I'll go along with this. Like, let's do this, Veronica, I'm bored. Me and the missus.
I would love... the missus. I like how she's like, that's the name for a dog. Says the girl who has a dog named Pony.
Fair.
Just like... Yep.
You know, I don't need you to make sense right now, Cliff. That's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here for.
Cliff, I don't think you realize I get to be the quippy one. I don't care for this.
Oh my god, and the fact that Cliff was able to get his client off because she gives, like, free sex work to veterans.
Oh my god.
The greatest thing.
I died. Like what was it? Vets Fly Free?
Yes!
I died.
I just love how, like, she's standing behind, like, the desk next to Cliff. Like, yeah, it was like, the judge couldn't fight against the airtight logic.
But, like, it's like, it can't be counted as prostitution if no money's been exchanged, so...
Nope, that's just sex. That's just sex.
That's just sex. That's just consensual sex between two adults. She's doing more for the vets than I feel like the government's doing for them, okay? So...
let me tell you how wrong you are not.
Also, I really appreciate that, like, she legit just is like, oh, you're a vet? Free. You protect our shores?
Whatever.
This is the least I can do for you.
Whatever you need. At least one good
risk
blowy.
Your life. Let me risk my life for you.
I know you've been going port to port, but we'll do this unprotected.
Also,
it's
I
fine.
like how inclusive she is, because Cliff's like, men, women, like...
If you serve for this country, she's gonna serve for you.
Mm-hmm.
But back to, like, the Veronica and Keith stuff. Like, it's just... I think my favorite part from it is when... because they have the whole build-up in the episode of, like... Is Cliff bad? Or not, is Cliff bad? Is Clyde bad? Is Nicole bad? Like, which one of them has the, like, bad BFF? Like, the whole line of, my new best friend isn't a murderer. Yours probably is. And then Keith's like, we'll see. We'll see.
I just like they're both like, we just want friends who are not problematic. Is that too much to ask for?
Can we just have some easy breezy friends? Like, but then Veronica has an easy breezy friend in Wallace, and we prove that it's too boring for her.
I was really angry how awful Veronica is. She can't suck it up one night for Wallace.
I know.
And also, like, Wallace's friends were just like too pretentious. It was just like too much.
But he's an 09er now. That's gonna be what his circle is.
This would have been a great time for an Alicia cameo, just saying, but whatever, that's just me.
Especially with how much she loves that baby. You'd think she would be over there helicopter
I would have loved
nannying.
for Veronica and Alicia to, like, have a scene. Would have been great.
Oh my god.
Be like, how's your dad? And Veronica's like, he's great. He's great. How's your other son?
No. Or just like Alicia just being like, you know, I was so worried Wallace was going to end up with you. I am so glad that didn't happen.
I mean, yes, it's true.
But what I wanted to say about, before we diverted into Wallace, is the whole episode we were building up with that, like, Clyde thing, and then as soon as Veronica finds out that Clyde's providing, like, this medical, like, service for Keith, or paying for all that, she's just like, fuck ethics, take the top-class medical care. Like, I would say the same thing if I was her, and it was
I also appreciate Veronica's like, Keith Mars don't sell out for anybody.
Right? Like, it's just... I really enjoy that part of the story and, like, that thread of the season.
Especially in the States.
Yeah, especially.
From what little I know.
Where our healthcare is
like
GoFundMes.
It's crazy how, like, drastically... Like, in Canada, there's definitely different levels of care, but I feel like in the States, it's drastically different.
Well, like...
In Canada, it's kind of like, from the lower end to the higher end, you're still gonna get good care.
You guys have, like, a baseline coverage of whatever.
Yes.
Whereas there's no baseline in America. Like, you better hope your job provides you good healthcare options. Otherwise, you're just paying disgusting amounts of money.
the fact that people have kids and then have to go bankrupt after having a baby in the hospital blows my mind. But then also, like, why... I don't understand how there's such, like, a population issue in the States. I'm like, it's so expensive to have a kid. Why would you have one?
Because abortions are hard to get in some places.
But just blows my mind. It's like, you won't let these people get free abortions from Planned Parenthood, who it's like, it doesn't do anything, but you rather stick these, like, teenagers or young people with, like,
astronomical medical bills,
debts. Yeah, it blows my mind. It blows it. It's like, once the baby's born, then all that care about this life is gone. It's
fuck
like,
that baby.
It's born. I don't care if it lives in poverty, but it's born.
That's your problem as its parent. Now you should, like, somehow have had this money found somewhere.
That makes you a bad parent for having this child.
Oh, and then
even though you didn't want this child.
Our generation is also horrible because we're not having enough children as the previous generation because it costs fucking $100,000 to have a baby. Unless you have it in a bathtub.
My parents had 3 kids by the time they were 25 and were still able to buy a place by the time they were, like, 30. Yeah. And my mom worked part-time. My mom didn't start working until we were about 10.
I can't afford a place with working full-time and a half. On 2 accounts.
Work...
kids.
I can't afford... Basically, I can barely afford to live on my own, and I work for... I do quite well at my job.
You do quite well, like... Yeah.
But it's still, like, crazy, and I'm like... I don't understand how people live. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't... Like, I understand now why people just get a tent and go live in Tent Village on Hastings Street. I get it.
Oh. You're a podcast poverty.
Okay, so back to Veronica. How did we get to... Oh, healthcare. Yes.
Healthcare. I also enjoyed...
yeah, Keith, do it. Get it all. Right? Big dick don't care.
Not at all. I like that they set up, like, the little foreshadowing of how his memory loss is going to end up getting them in trouble, which will come into fruition in, like, 2 episodes, I think it is. Either way, that was a nice little setup there.
Like, him burning the breakfast burrito, I was very much like... I felt really... I have some clients at my work that have dementia, and it's...
Oh, no.
It's weird because some of them are very, like, try really hard to hide it and are very kind and forgiving, and then there's also the other spectrum where they're very angry because, like, they don't want it to be their fault, so they lash out and it's everyone else's fault.
It's so frustrating to not be able to... Yeah.
But then you want to be so mad at them because they're so rude and, like, awful to you, but you're also like, but they can't help it.
It's not their fault.
But then it's also like...
It's not my fault either.
They keep calling me a moron, so, like, I can't. I
can only take so much. Like, I'm just gonna leave now. Like, I'm not gonna lash back. I'm just gonna leave.
I know. So it's like Keith's face after the burnt burrito. He's just like, I must have just I got distracted. It's like, it's hard. And I've never had to deal with that, like, as a family, like, with a family member, but I know it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy taught me it's very difficult.
Oh my God. My grandpa got cancer when I was like 9-ish, and it was, like, super aggressive, super fast, and, like, part of it, like, once it hit his brain, like, he was just forgetting things. He would hallucinate things. Like, it was wild. But that's the closest I got to it. Even then, my family kind of kept me away from that part. I only caught, like, glimpses.
And you were so young.
I know. So I didn't really, But a Keith Veronica moment I did like that wasn't sad was from the very beginning when Penn's listening to the bug that he got from them.
Oh my god, yes.
And they're just shitting on him.
The pizza guy, he has his head in his ass, and it's like, Penn was so mad. He's just like, darn they!
But like, you can't get mad at them. You're the one bugging them. You're gonna hear this. That's your fault, buddy. And then with the beginning, I actually enjoyed Langdon a bit in this. What is she? Chief? Police commissioner?
Sheriff?
Sheriff? Is she sheriff?
I think she's still sheriff.
But it's like a police station now. It's not like a sheriff's department.
But they call her sheriff a couple times.
Do they? Okay. All right, that's fair.
I feel like you can still have... I feel like...
I live here and I don't know.
I don't think Veronica Mars knows what it wants it to be. That's also the problem. The States, there's like weird pockets of weird police. I feel like in Canada we have like the RCMP, so it's kind of weird too. But I don't know. The States, it's like, I don't get what you guys do. Just have a police force.
If that.
And then you have like a highway patrol, which is different. I don't get it.
No, I get that. I don't get that, but I get, I forget about the highway patrol. But I loved when she, like, put Lyndon in his place. Like, she's like, your son may be dead, but he is a piece of shit rapist, so, shit. Don't know how much sympathy you want here from me, buddy. Like, and then
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, and then he, like, gets pissy and goes out and holds that press conference, which is awesome.
I just felt weird that we're, like, adding more people into
another
the mix
player
that
into
I don't
it.
really care about.
Episode 5.
Like, I liked the scene. I thought it was really great, and it was a great way for the character to kind of, like, show her as not just being, like, a bumbling police sheriff, but it's also, like, we have, like, enough things going on, and we only have, like, a handful of episodes. This added layer is not...
It's not useful.
Focus.
I would have liked more stuff with, like, Penn and the murder heads trying to, like, go up against Dick, or, like, Clyde stuff. Something with, like, the current players that we already have.
Yes, it would be nice for more Big Dick, because he's not in this episode.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize they talked so much about him, and we got, like...
Yes.
No Big Dick.
Let's talk about my favorite moment. I mean, like, so this is my I actually had quite a few favorite moments, but a moment I really appreciated, because I was a sucker for, like, callbacks, when Maddie, I know. But when she's on the bus and she's talking to that Owen kid, and she's being a total Veronica, and Wallace is just like, it's a slippery slope.
I was like, one of the best.
Exactly what's going on.
I love that they had Wallace, like, they set that up with, like, Wallace on the bus with them because that was perfect to have him watching, like, a new Veronica Wallace relationship happen. Like, I love it.
I also enjoy that Wallace is, like, a really nerdy teacher. Like,
oh my god, I know. He just wants anyone to get one of his jokes, and, like, no one cares. No one cares. Because he's a teacher, so no one cares. Wallace, sorry, buddy. It's just how it goes.
But, like, Maddie's all like, I need to find all this information, and I just don't have a big enough brain. And then Owen's like, I can help you. Oh, can you? Oh, because you're so smart.
I don't even know where would you even start with something like this? Oh, like, well, you could hack it, I think.
Like, Ask Jeeves? Is that
not Ask Jeeves? I loved Ask Jeeves. And I remember when I was a kid and would use it, I would, like, type it out as a full-ass question to this man. Yeah. Thinking that's what you had to do.
It's polite.
I don't want to upset him. He's a distinguished.
He wore like a suit, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a butler. Like, and I don't know.
I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed when Maddie comes back to Veronica and is trying to like up her with this information, and she's like, Phoenix Land Trust, and Veronica's like, Beaver, and she's like, I don't know what that is, but Cassidy, Casablanca, and Veronica's like, and she's like, the son of, you guessed it, Dick Casablanca. And Veronica's like, yeah, I'm there already.
That was such a good, like, that was for the fans and in a good way. Like, that's...
But wasn't Phoenix Land Trust in Kendall's name?
I think so, because I don't think we ever got Beaver to 18. I think he died before he turned 18.
Because I feel like it was always in Kendall's name.
It at least
but it's
started
like such
that
a small
way.
detail.
I know, right?
Yeah, because it was just really funny. Because like I like how Veronica's just like Beaver, and Maddie's like, I don't know what that means. But
I don't know what that means.
Cassidy, Casablanca. Just the pause. Like she's so excited that she has this piece of information.
And then her like trying to tell Veronica like how she found out where she lived was a little convoluted, and a little lucky on her end.
It was a lot convoluted. I'm not gonna lie. I
saw a dog leash on your door. Like, okay.
Yeah.
No one else has a dog.
0 novelty items on her car. Let's be real here. Let's be real.
She wouldn't have anything. She's not going to have a license plate that's, like, personalized. She'll have Mars 1. Mars 2. Do you want to talk about the Weevil stuff? And the Juan Diego stuff?
Oh, Juan Diego. Yes, I'm a creep. I apologize.
Our little king. Tyler Alvarez is an adult, so I will not feel bad about this. As far as I know, Juan Diego is 18. At the very least. Or is he in juvie? Fuck. No, he's in regular jail. Right?
I don't know. She keeps saying he's going to go to Chino, which, like, I don't like that every single character says Chino. It just seems like, I don't know.
I get it.
I don't like it.
I get it. I understand what you mean. But, yeah, Veronica's kind of a piece of shit. I think she's fully supposed to be, but, like... Yeah.
But I love how Veronica goes for the low punches, like, right away.
Yeah, she doesn't even wait. She's just like, well, you're gonna die or I'm gonna get answers.
And then it's like, well, when she's talking to Weevil and she's like, my dad and Cliff, like, went on the line for you. And, like, I don't blame Weevil for, like, not selling out, but taking a deal. I don't
doing
blame
the
him.
settlement? Yeah, okay, so, you watched all 12 seasons of The Good Wife. You know how these things work. Like, one of the ways, class actions or whatever won't work is because they know the people they're going up against need money, and they could just settle with it and solve it, and, like, those people's problems will be taken care of in the short term, which they really need, but in the long term, nothing's really...
Well, because was he going up against Celeste, or was he going up against the sheriff's department? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I guess this was part of one of the books.
Because I thought it was from the movie.
No, like, this is something that happened...
Celeste shot him.
It might be from that, but, like, the lawsuit and all that, I guess, happened in one of the books.
In my mind, it's going up against Celeste or the Canes or even the sheriff's department. And at the end of the day, those things rarely go to court because you always see a payout because it's like the lawyers, like, Weevil can't compete with that.
No, and he needs money. Like he was saying, he needed to take care of his fucking family. Like, Veronica, people need to eat.
Veronica's like, and they left, and is that why they left? And Weevil's like, oh, it's a low blow.
That was so shitty. Like, it's... I understand they've drifted, but, like... And I'm guessing...
I really like it. I also really... I hate it, but I love it.
Oh, yeah,
I hate it, but I love it.
I love it because it's, like, exactly what it would be like if it was Veronica. Like, this is where she would be. She would just... She does not care if someone is suffering, like if that person didn't do what she wanted, what she thought was the moral right thing to do, then fuck them and you're a piece of trash. Like, it's it hurts. Like, I get it though. It's the right progression for Veronica, and to show like how blinded she is by her own like privilege and shit. Like he said in the last episode, she chose this life. He did not choose this life.
Yes.
And then like the scene with her and Juan Diego in like the holding cell or whatever, which was so gross.
It was so gross. And it reminded me, and I really appreciate that the writers did it, because it's such a white privilege move of Veronica not giving a shit and just like going for it, that I appreciate it. But it's also like, so many people do that in real life, use like that. It's just gross. It's so gross.
And like it tracks with Veronica too, 'cause she's very much a ends justify the means type of person. So this is just her trying.
Yeah, she is.
Like, and what really sucks about it is it's not even that it's like something that would necessarily help her with the bomber. It's something she thinks might possibly be linked to it that she can get help with the case with. Like, that's what makes it even shittier. She's not even sure he knows something that's going to help her. And she's like, well, you die. That's not really my problem. Which, I also get it. Like, he like held a knife to her or whatever. So, like,
I get
he's not innocent.
But it's also like,
she's operating from a different place.
He is a PG-13. Oh my god, what do we call them?
The PG-13 gang.
Why does it feel like so long ago? PG-13 gang. He is part of that. Though they've clearly gone up to like, is it what's after PG? Like 14A gang? Like, he's a little higher. He's a little.
We don't have that. We have PG-13 then R.
Oh.
We have a TV.
In Canada, we have 14.
We have a TV 14.
Oh,
but not for movies, just TV.
Because I don't think he's gone to R, but he's in the middle ground.
He's finding his way.
But
we find out that Clyde is actually working with Weevil and the PCHers.
Yes.
Which I think is a good way. Like, I enjoy that those two storylines connect, because that feels right.
Yes.
Especially with how much they're mentioning Chino and all that, to have Clyde kind of come in.
Well, I appreciate Clyde I think Clyde and Weevil would do well together, because Clyde respects, I think Weevil, I don't know how to put, like, Weevil's like a hard worker when it comes to his gang, and I feel like Clyde appreciates that. I don't know what that means, but that's what I think.
I don't know what I mean with that, but I really feel it.
Yeah, I really feel it.
And then with Weevil, when he like walks in or whatever, he's like, Veronica, what's wrong with you? Like, there are varying opinions to that.
I like that he was really honest, and he's like, honestly, I don't know. And Veronica's like, bullshit.
And
bullshit.
She's right. He's working with Clyde, and
whatever.
That's kind of their thing. But also, like, that doesn't excuse her going after Juan Diego in the way she did, like, at all. Because, like, the thing is, she's, like, knowingly putting him into that spot. It's not like she's doing something and then he ends up, like, through circumstance or whatever. Like, she's like, I know you'll probably get killed, but meh, don't care.
I've got a lot of people killed, so you know.
If it happens, it happens. But also, Francis Capra did some amazing work in that scene. Like,
I agree.
Him and Kristen have really great back and forth in chemistry, and I'm really glad we finally got to see it at a more personal level.
And I also like that it's more at an adult level.
Yes.
Because it was hard to take really serious when they were both teenagers. like pretending, like they're both teenagers pretending to be 30-year-olds, and now they're actually adults, and there's actual consequences. And
boy, howdy are they.
Because at least before, I think Veronica had like, I wouldn't say she was right, but Weevil had an option when he was young to get out of it if he really wanted to. Like there was ways for him to do it. At this point in his life, there's not.
Right.
I don't think Veronica understands that. Veronica in her mind is like, there's always a way. And he's like, yeah, it says pretty Miss Blonde Blue Eyes. Yeah, there's always a way.
Right? Like, she feels that, like, a choice he made as a teenager should, like, affect him for, like, it's just, it's so, like, just because he didn't get out of it as a teenager, that it's that he should be stuck in it forever, and or he should be punished for it forever from her. And it's Veronica. But also you can't have, like, that's, I don't want to say this is what makes her great, but it makes her a better character, like that she has these serious flaws. Like it's not like a surface flaw, it's a big flaw.
And it's what's really funny about it is Veronica always tells people, like, you can't let the past define you. You can find another way. But then Veronica is so scarred and, like, lives by her past that it's, like...
And defines other people by their past. Like, it's...
Yes.
She definitely cannot see her own advice in life.
Yes, which is great. And which makes Veronica such a unique and interesting character. I will say though, so when her and Logan are talking,
okay, good, that's what I wanted to get into
later in the episode, about how, like, she has no like urgency for her own life. She's only here because of Keith and Logan, and she has no actual choice in what she does. And then when Logan says, well, what would you do if Keith and I weren't here? And her response would be like, I would kill myself. I don't like this trope of, because it happens a lot with female characters where it's like, if their significant other or if their supporting characters weren't there, they would have no urgency or, like, would just be in this depression. Especially I find with characters like Veronica, and I only bring it up because right now on Supergirl, one of the characters is pretty much in the same, like, Supergirl's gone missing, so her sister's pretty much like, I'm useless now, I failed Supergirl, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, are people really so defined by their, like, other people around their lives so they don't have their own backs to, or, like, feet to stand on? Like, yeah, it would suck if, like, I didn't have certain people in my life, but I don't think I would be... I don't know what to do with my life anymore. And I just find a lot of female characters fall into this trope, and I don't like it.
I'd be sad for a little while, and then I'd make another clone, and then I'd be fine.
Well, just the fact that Veronica is like, I don't know what I would do with my life if Keith and Logan weren't in it. I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of a sad existence.
Well, and it felt like such a weird conclusion to that argument was...
Because also, Logan wasn't talking about, like, if we died. He was like, if we just didn't exist
if you had
world.
Your own choices in life to do anything that wasn't guided by anyone else. And she's like, the two most important people in my life wouldn't be there. I'd want to be dead. And it's like... That's not the question that was being asked, but thanks, I guess. Like,
that's very just, like, over the top.
I really loved that he was like, that Logan was like, I don't think you're happy, and you're acting like you can't change these circumstances, but you very much can.
Yes.
Like, this is the second episode that it's been said to her. In the last episode, Weevil said it. In this episode, it's Logan. Like, I'm enjoying that this is, like, kind of a build-up to what we're getting to at the end. And this is kind of foreshadowing where, like, what if you don't have me or your dad?
Well, I like what Logan says is, like, your dad wants you out of town because you don't have a choice. And Veronica's like, I do whatever I want to do. And he's like, you don't? No.
And you know you don't, because you wouldn't be in Neptune if you were doing... whatever you wanted. Like,
I also, like, I like that Veronica is such like a bitch about like, oh, I don't want therapy, Logan, and Broadway Logan's even worse.
Oh my god, yes, Broadway Logan!
And it's like, first of all, appreciate that Logan like whatever
enjoys Broadway. No,
and their talk earlier where he sees the message from Leo, and she's like, "You're gonna talk about the therapist," and he's like, "I don't usually like to have like a list, but I'm probably gonna talk about it."
I like to like freeform it like jazz or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, another thing against therapy, it's like jazz. I really enjoyed her like shitting on therapy because that is such a Veronica, and like what a lot of people would do that have never.
It's what a lot of people do that are like
that need it,
almost afraid of it.
Yes,
because I like when she says like, "Oh, I just want to see your head before it shrinks." And he's like, "You've said this before." And she's like, "It's a good bit."
Right? I love that. She's like, I'm sold on this bit, and I think it's funny every time I do it. So
yeah.
it just it feels it's smart to have Veronica shitting on therapy because it's what she would do. She would not want to be vulnerable with someone, like especially on that level. Like I don't know. It's the people that had issues with her shitting on therapy, like just because she's shitting on therapy doesn't mean that therapy's bad. It means that Veronica is stupid. Like I don't know what you want out of this. Veronica's not going to suddenly be like, oh yes, I want someone to psychoanalyze me because that's exactly what I need, and that'll fix all my problems. Because she doesn't think that way. Come on. Speaking of people's double standards on this, there were people that were really mad at Veronica for going and shooting a gun in an empty construction site because she may or may not have possibly still been high from the party. Meanwhile,
I was gonna say people were also really angry that Veronica was doing drugs at said party.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have Keith and Clyde hunting while drinking. So, like, I don't get why one is bad and the other is just two dudes being dudes. But when Veronica does it, it's demonic. And she might kill someone who could have possibly maybe happened to have been walking in that construction site in this fictional city. It's just wild.
I will say, I don't hate that Veronica and Nicole were vaping. I just think vaping's gross in general, and people that do it are douchebags. So I just didn't care for that. Let her like smoke weed, like have a joint or something. The vaping part, I'm just like, you're better than this, Veronica.
No, listen. Look and listen. So the benefit to the vape is it doesn't smell. Like you're not getting. Like,
I mean, I've done both, and I do find vaping. I get the better high from it.
Yes,
that's not the point. It's still super douchey. Douchey people who like vape, but like the cigarettes. What
yes,
that have like the smells to them?
Yes.
Those are the douchebags.
Well, and the ones
I do like that.
The ones that
Nicole's comment, like, my bong doesn't fit in the purse. I'm like, I appreciate that.
Right, come on, those things are big. You're going to have a pretty big purse. Even if you got a little bubbler.
She's like, I just want a clutch. It's a clutch kind of night.
I don't want a whole bunch of shit in my hands. Like, we're at a party. Come on. No, the annoying vapes are, like, the cigarette ones where they make the, like, giant clouds and make such, like, an obnoxious scene out of it.
And they smell.
Yes.
They're supposed to smell like things, and I'm like, it just smells gross. It smells sickly.
It smells like sickly, like whatever fruit it's trying to be.
Yes.
No. I loathe that.
So let's talk about Nicole's background. Her little I wish this episode was written by a woman or co-written by a woman. Please. That's all I want to say. Because, like,
I don't know how many times we could say the same thing. I don't.
It was just so heavy-handed. Like, I just, from a male perspective, it's not interesting.
So I talked to like one of my best friends from high school about this, because me and her were really big Veronica Mars fans when the original series, and we used to talk about it. And I was like, so, like, I'm a guy, so I can't say like too much on this. I know that like rape and sexual assault towards women, and like at the very least, the United States is like, crazy high. Like it is, and it does happen to most women. I'm like, but she's like, no. I feel the same. Like, it's something that happens, but it feels like it happens with everyone on this show. Like, it's not the fact that they're showing,
because it does.
They're showing a character that's been raped. They have a huge back catalog of characters that have experienced rape, like, or sexual assault, and to just like pile it on to like Nicole now. Like,
because why could Nicole not have just been like attacked or like
exactly
something like that?
You can still be scared for your life if you're not being
still
sexually attacked.
You can still. Why couldn't she have been like stabbed or something? Like, that would almost be better than like
another rape.
I just
because it's such a throwaway. It's not even that it's treated with anything.
Yes,
it's not like it's.
And then almost and I didn't really like that when Veronica and Keith were talking, he's like, she was raped, and Veronica's like, I didn't say that. Well, I guessed it. I'm a private eye. I got it. It was almost jokey about it. I'm like, maybe let's not joke about Nicole being raped, guys.
Like, I understand that it's such a common occurrence among the Veronica Mars characters, but it still shouldn't be treated with that levity, like that, the little like throwaway type of situation. It just,
because it's also like, why? It's like she could have got the bar any other way. Why is like, what's the easiest way for Nicole to get the bar? Well, she sued the previous owner because he raped, because she goes raped. It's like, I mean, that would have worked if every other female character wasn't also raped, but and also it's weird. It's like Veronica and Nicole don't have much in common, but they're both raped, so like that's really gonna bring them together, which is just like really gross.
And like, okay, so you want to do something like that where Veronica, I mean, they don't have it to where Veronica ends up healing her trauma through another character's lived trauma or whatever. It's just like trauma for trauma's sake. But like, if you want to do that with a character, don't have that be like where the characters meet, like a support of sorts. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to say like I'm joining a support group, but like we're 5 episodes in, they're like been becoming friends, and now it's like, oh, I was raped, oh, we're friends, and then just to have it turn at the end, like
Nicole not being raped, or Nicole, like this whole, it doesn't actually play anything to any.
It does nothing. It doesn't really come back again, except for because I think this actually would have been a better use of the bomber storyline. Like, imagine if the bomber was someone that was killing like rapists and like sexual assaulters, like.
That would have been interesting.
Veronica has to reckon with that, and she's like, well, maybe I'm just going to pretend I didn't see this and walk this way. Like, that would have been...
But then, like, the only problem is, like, there's, like, the crossfire, because, like, non-rapists are obviously... I mean, like, to find out, it would have been, like, I don't know, like, I would have been really interested if it turned out Maddie's dad was a racist.
Yes,
like,
right?
But I'm also really glad Maddie was not raped.
Oh my god. Oh, I didn't even think that. Oh my god, she could have been. It could have been Maddie instead of Nicole. Fuck. Oh, I hate the way this show deals with this. It's not even that it deals with this, it's that it continuously introduces it. For no reason.
Yes, and I don't like that Veronica is going to be like turning on Nicole. It feels like it's pointless.
her line with, in my experience, people let you down, but only if you let them. Good line. I just didn't want it there and about Nicole.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually a really good Veronica line. It's just a shitty to be having to do with Nicole.
A line I really appreciated was when Logan called and he's like, "Are you high?" And Veronica said, "High on life." I like to think that's a Lily throwback.
Oh, my other favorite part with that is when she answers the phone and she's like, "Hey, Honey Bunches of Oats. Hey, Captain Crunch."
Also, when she's holding the brush and Nicole's like, "Can we shoot that?" And she's like, "Well, it's mainly just for combing hair."
I love Hi, Veronica.
Me too.
And then when Logan's like apologizing on the phone about like looking through the text, and she's like, "If the situation were reversed, I would allow you your privacy. You are high. Bye." It's just so good. Clyde, when he finds out about Penn, or like he's like raging about Penn or whatever,
yeah.
And he's like, "I want you to every tube sock he's tried to impregnate." I lost my shit.
There's
J.K.
one more
Simmons
line
is
in this
beautiful.
like it's not my favorite line, but there's a moment when Penn and
The girl,
Carol, I think her name is.
it's so sexy that you were right.
Well, no, but like when she falls on the bed and like she screams and they open the
I think it was the beak.
So I think it was the beak. The way she said it,
Yes.
and like it killed me because it was such like a. I feel like it was an improv line or something because it killed me. Just the way she said it was so like out of the blue because she was just like, I think it was the beak.
I think it was the beak.
I was at work watching this and I bursted out laughing. And it's been a long time since Veronica's made me burst out laugh. And it's all the actress. It's all her.
100%.
It was all great. And then just like Penn gives her this look of like, okay, you know what? I got more concerns right now.
It's a little weird.
I'm like, well, it probably was the beak. She's probably right.
Right? And like the lead up to that too, where she's just like, "It's so sexy that you were right." Like, I also hope that was an improv line because the way she delivered it was so like of the moment. Like, I don't know. That actress was fucking hilarious. I enjoyed her.
Fucking hilarious. Yes.
Better than she stole the scene from Patton Oswalt. So like.
Which is hard because I really enjoy Patton Oswalt. He's really good at
He was great in King of Queens.
Scene stealing. He's a scene stealer. I mean, we could talk about King of Queens every time, but we won't this time.
But that's pretty much all I have for the episode. I do have, the party scene, but we'll talk about that in favorite quotes.
Oh, yeah, I think that's my favorite quote too.
I love it.
Play that whole part.
The entire scene. But yeah, do you have anything else?
No, the beak was my last thing I wanted to bring up.
It was so good. I'm glad you
Because I'm like, I don't want to forget about it. It was so great. It was like a nice little cherry on the top of the episode.
It really was. Okay, let's get into some segments.
As kind of a side project, I dispense fashion advice.
Fashion. In this segment, we like to talk about the fashion episode. What we liked, what we didn't like, and what was kind of just worn by our cast. So what I really enjoyed was Vinny's 90s inspired jacket that
oh my God.
Women's jacket he found in the Lost and Found.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Thank you. Vinny looked
like
amazing.
The blue leopard stripe on it. Veronica, you're a fashionless hack. Shut up.
Right, we've seen what you've worn, Veronica. Let's just calm down the fashion advice from you. You are not Lily Kane. I think that's very evident.
Yes.
I also really, really liked is like at the very end-ish when Veronica's talking to Maddie, she has this like beige blazer and like white lace blouse under it that was super pretty.
Yes. I also liked Veronica earlier in the episode had a white hoodie with like a blue and red stripe. It was very Supergirl, and I quite enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. I really liked that.
It threw me off because she doesn't usually wear those colors.
It felt very California, and I can't explain it, and I won't explain it, but it did.
Yeah. I get it.
Did you like anything else?
No. Well, nothing really stood out.
I'm right there with you. All right, let's go into the next segment then.
These are the jokes.
It's time for our favorite quote of the episode, and I'm pretty sure we all know what it is. It is the party scene where Nicole walks up to Veronica and they improv
Everything.
That whole scene.
Everything. Just play it, rewatch it. I watched it twice.
I had to.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say.
That's mind-boggling. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's nothing compared to what happened with Veronica's kids.
My kids. Yeah, that was insane.
Well, tell her the story.
I told
Come
it
on,
so
you
many
have to hear it.
times.
It's so good, though.
Okay. So I was searching for a preschool for my twins, Hakeem and Olajuwon.
Hakeem is a dream, and Olajuwon has the heart of a champion.
You're very sweet. Well, the preschool that I liked is very gung-ho about diversity. They hear those names, they make certain assumptions.
They assume they were black and African and Muslim.
Yeah, but we're not Muslim. And so on the first day, 2 little blonde boys show up, and the school was like, what? And while I swear I had no intention of gaming the system.
She's just a huge fan of 1990s Houston Rockets basketball.
But it's a great preschool, so I just kept my big trap shut.
I think my favorite part out of it was, when Veronica's like, you say those names, and they think we're black and something and Muslim. And Veronica's like, but we're not Muslim. And, it's that they're not, it was such a great beat. I wish we got more scenes with Veronica and Nicole being able to do that.
I agree. It was great. I died. I died every time.
All right, let's get into our MVP then.
Go Pirates!
MVP, our most valuable pirate. In this segment, we like to choose which character we each thought did kind of the best of the episode. I know who do you have? Who do you have?
I give it to Cliff.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I thought he was really great in this episode. I loved it. I just get the whole hooker scene and the vet thing.
It's gold.
Basically, after that scene, I'm like, it's Cliff, and nothing will change my mind.
I'm gonna give it to Nicole, mainly because I don't know if I'm going to be able to give it to her again. One, unfair that she had to have a rape storyline thrust on her for no reason, because it doesn't actually add to literally anything in the story. And two,
at least go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, at least to be fair, unlike Parker, her character was not designed first.
Right.
This seemed to be an afterthought, so at least that's something. Also, how disgusting is it that her rape was probably an afterthought in the writer's room? It's well, she was raped. Oh my god. Character.
Oh my god. The character development, it just writes itself now. It's pouring out. They're very much, it feels like, oh, we have these two characters bonding. What could they bond over? Oh, women love to bond over rape, don't they? Let's do that. That's what it was giving me, and it felt disgusting.
That's what I hear.
It felt disgusting. Let's move into our last segment.
Pirate points are earned by being a contributing member of the school.
Pirate points! In this segment, we, I guess you kind of heard it at the beginning of this episode. We figure you know how we felt about it by the time we get to this point. So instead of giving it a numerical score or a letter grade, we like to say how many pirate points we think the episode has earned. How many pirate points are you giving it today?
So, us talking about this episode actually made me like it a little bit more than I thought I did.
Oh.
So I'm going to give this episode enough points to get just the tip of the beak. Not the whole beak.
You're so dumb. I hate you. This is so stupid. I hate this segment.
Just the tip.
I hate this segment. This is the stupidest idea we have ever had. We're going to numerical score in our next podcast. I really hate this.
How do we even do that? If we had like a 5-star rating, season 1 would just always be like, I'm going to give it a 5, I guess a 4.7, and the finale would be like, I'm just going to give it a 6. Like,
4.7624. Okay, that's how detailed it would get down to. I'm going to give it enough pirate points to get a free handy for your service to the U.S. military.
God bless America.
Thanks for serving. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode. If you've made it this far, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you listening. Like, we really do. Thank you for paying attention to us. It means the world. And if you want to continue listening to us, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And if there's a rating system, look at that 5-star while you're on iTunes, your Apple Podcast app, and give a little tappa to that 5-star. And let them know you love us. If you want to find us on social media, we are at Veronica Marspod on both Twitter and Instagram. If you want to find me personally, I am at Ojo on Twitter. That is OHJEAUX. Come talk to me about the only thing I talk about anymore, which is X-Men, because that is now my personality. X-Men. That is my entire personality now. Sorry for anyone who's followed me for anything else.
Bros, but you guys can find me at Travis Truant. That's Travis, then Truant. I assume we're at that part now. We're having some technical difficulties. It's getting real bad near the end of this, so I hope I'm at the right spot.
I mean, we'll take it. So you know where to find him. We will find you all next week talking about Veronica Mars Season 4, Episode 6, Entering a World of Pain. And until then, get vaccinated if you can. Wear a mask always. And have a lovely day. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
You tried to say Veronica Mars. We get it. Girl detectives are bitchier than regular detectives. Not into it.